So up next, I will share with you my favorite mini travel pouch and what got me into my tiny travels. So in here, this is mainly my watercolor supplies, and I have in here this little praying palette, which I don't use this for my paintings, but I do use it for backgrounds, no, for you making background washes for quotes in some of my journals. I really like using it for that, and I do have an example of some of that in shorts on my video if you want to see what that may look like. Let me make sure I'm angled well, and hopefully everything you guys can see pretty well. So I have here my cloth, and this is a disposable facial cloth, and I use these once, and I often rinse them out and reuse them until they're falling apart and don't want to be used anymore. I love those. I have here my sponge, my art sponge. I have a glue stick because you just never really know. So I do have a glue stick in here. This is I think this may be an old Karataki set. I'm not even sure if this is available anymore, but this set is probably well over 10 years old, and I love it. It's still holding up extremely well. It's very well made. And the way it works is I take this little water refill bottle, fill my brush, and I am ready to paint. It's just ready to go from there. I don't have a piece of paper here to use it as an example, but we all know how water brushes work. And I just love this little set. And to keep everything closed up, I take and flip the brush inside of the barrel, and it is fine just as it is. I don't worry about the water still being in there because I use it often enough that I don't have to worry about the water ruining the brush. In most cases, if I have a long period of storage, I would probably just pour the water out, let the brush dry out, and then invert it into its holding. So I'll show you guys this in a second, a spray bottle for my paints. I have this little lock here just to have that in there for some reason. Okay, so I have this pen in here, and the only reason I carry this pen is because it has the ruler lines on it. I thought that that was pretty cool, so I keep that inside of the pouch. I have a paper mate pencil here, another size 2 paper mate pencil that I keep in my watercolor pouch. And these are the leads that I used to fill that with. I have this Kohl Erase pencil. I haven't been using that as much lately, but I do have it in here. I have 4 travel brushes. These are, I think these are, I know they're the silver, is it the Da Vinci silver? These are the the silver watercolor brushes. These are so old, I really can't remember, but they are the travel size brushes, and they open up to full size brushes. This one I had to put washi tape on because it wasn't holding inside of the casing pretty well, and now it fits very tight and snug by adding washi tape to it. And I want to say this may be a size 8. This is possibly a 6, a 4, and maybe a 0. But I would have to look into my account, my Amazon account, because I ordered these so long ago. And I think these are the silver black velvet watercolor travel size brushes. I don't know if it's Da Vinci for sure, but that's what they are. I have a Sharpie here just to have that there. Fine liners, just in case I decide I want to use a fine liner on any of my paintings. This is my plastic eraser, the Staedtler plastic eraser. I have here my Coeco. Now I have it in here, but I don't have it. It's not loaded. This is just ink from when I was cleaning it out. The cartridge is just sitting in here, but it's not loaded right now. So you can see that the ink is not coming from the cartridge. It's actually coming from inside of the tip from where I had been cleaning it out. And apparently I do need to clean it a little more before I load it again. And I have some rubber bands because sometimes I may want to use rubber bands on my notebooks. And the coolest part of this whole thing is my little watercolor palette. Now, these are magnetic clips that I attach to the back of this palette, which can also attach to any notebook that I may want to paint from. And I have 2 of them in there so that if I decide to, I have this one on backwards, to put them both on, I have my paint here and my mixing palette here. And I know most people prefer a white mixing palette, but this little palette, when I say this palette is over 10 years old, I've been having this palette for a very long time, and it has done me great. It's been refilled once for sure, maybe twice, but once for sure I have refilled it. And I keep a piece of a kneaded eraser in here. So this little bag, this little pouch contains everything that I need to create a nice painting. Everything fits other than the sketchbook. And if I was to take a sketchbook, I would probably take something tiny like this. I also forgot to mention that these colors are Daniel Smith watercolors. So also in sharing some of my favorite mini watercolor palettes, this is a trinket box that I actually thrifted. And this is like a little condiment bowl. I would think that maybe it's a little condiment bowl. And let's see. Yeah, it just says threshold, but this was thrifted also. So for both of these, this was under $10 because I want to say this may have been about $4.99 and this was possibly $1.99 and half off or something like that, which would make it like $1. So I decided to take this little set and turn this into a watercolor set, a nice little mini desk size watercolor set. And it works perfectly because I used the lid of the trinket box as a mixing well, and then I have this backup bowl as a mixing well. And I have colors from, these colors range from Winsor and Newton, Daniel Smith, and I want to say I have two Rosa Gallery colors. The Rosa Gallery colors I just put in here, so because these two colors were not in here at all, but the rest were. And I love painting with this little set. This one just sits on my desk, and if I feel like working on a painting at my desk, I just pull this little set out and go ahead on and paint with it. So that is another one of my little mini sets that I love working with.